Good evening and welcome to tonight's news bulletin, coming to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty the Sultan and the German President review in an official session of talks the bilateral relations between the two countries and exchange views on the latest regional and international developments. An official reception ceremony is accorded to the German President at Al Alam Palace. And His Excellency the President of the Swiss Confederation shall pay an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman starting next Thursday. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Now, the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Excellency Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier, President of the Republic of Germany, held an official session of talks this morning at Al Alam Palace. At the beginning of the session, His Majesty the Sultan welcomed His Excellency the guest, wishing him and his accompanying delegation a pleasant stay. His Excellency, the guest, expressed his sincere thanks and great appreciation to His Majesty the Sultan for his warm reception and generous hospitality. During the talks, they reviewed bilateral relations between the two countries and ways to strengthen them in all fields in a way that serves the interest of the two peoples and achieves their common aspirations. The two sides also exchanged views on the latest regional and international developments and matters of mutual interest. The session was attended from the Omani side by His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, His Highness Sayyid As-Saad bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the International Relations and Cooperation Affairs and Special Representative of His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of the Royal Court, His Excellency General Sultan bin Muhammad Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, His Excellency Sultan bin Salim Al Habsi, Minister of Finance, His Excellency Dr. Hamad bin Saeed Al Aufi, Head of the Private Office, His Excellency Engineer Saeed bin Hamoud Al Ma'wali, Minister of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, Head of the Mission of Honor, and Her Excellency Maytha bin Saif Al Mahruqiyya, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman, accredited to the Federal Republic of Germany. And from the German side, it was attended by His Excellency Dr. Tobias Lindner, Minister of State of Foreign Ministry of Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Derek Lulka, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman, and His Excellency Ambassador Wolfgang Silbermann, Head of the Foreign Policy Department of the Office of the Federal President. After that, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Excellency the German President held a closed-door discussion session. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received His Excellency President Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier of the Federal Republic of Germany, who began an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman. The German President was accorded an official reception ceremony today upon the arrival of the motorcade of the German President at Al Alam Palace external courtyard. A squadron of cavalry lined the two sides of the road to the gate of the palace, welcoming the guest. Then the Royal Guard of Oman band played a welcoming tune to the accompaniment of trumpets as the motorcade entered the internal courtyard of Al Alam Palace. After that, His Majesty the Sultan accompanied the German President to the dais of honor, where the national anthem of Germany was played while the artillery fired a 21-gun salute for the guest.
جمهورية ألمانيا الاتحادية. سلام كل.
After that, His Majesty the Sultan shook hands with members of the official delegation accompanying the President of Germany, wishing them a pleasant stay. In his turn, the guest shook hands with a number of their Highnesses, Chairman of the State and Shura Councils, Their Excellencies the Ministers and the Chief of Staff of the Sultan's Armed Forces. After that, His Majesty the Sultan and the guest proceeded to the hall where they took coffee. His Excellency the President of Germany is accompanied by his spouse and an official delegation comprising His Excellency Dr. Tobias Lindner, Minister of State, and at the Foreign Ministry of the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Dirk Lolke, Ambassador of Germany to Oman, Wolfgang Silbermann, Head of the Foreign Policy Department of the Office of the Federal President, and a number of German officials. In the meantime, His Excellency Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier, President of the Republic of Germany, and his spouse visited today Oman Cross Age Museum in the Wilaya of Manah in the Governorate of Dakhliya as part of their official visit to the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency the guest and his spouse toured the various corridors of the museum and were briefed on its design, inspired by Al-Hajar Mountains with a unique creativity that reflects the Omani environment. He also toured the most prominent suites of the museum, includes in the History Hall, the Renaissance Hall, and the interactive experiences that the two halls offer to visitors. The guests also got acquainted with the historical antiques and manuscripts included in the different suites of the museum and the modern interactive technologies that the museum is equipped with, in addition to other facilities and services that museum provides to visitors of various categories. At the end of their visit, His Excellency Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier, President of the Federal Republic of Germany, signed the Senior Visitors Register, expressing their thanks for the hospitality accorded to them and describing Oman as a country of rich history and prosperous future. Upon this visit, the German President and his spouse were accompanied by His Excellency Nasser bin Hamoud Al-Kindi, Secretary General of Royal Court Affairs, head of the museum's Board of Trustees, His Excellency Engineer Saeed bin Hamoud Al-Mawali, Minister of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, head of the Mission of Honor, Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahruqiya, Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, and a number of officials. His Excellency Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier, President of the Federal Republic of Germany, and his spouse also visited Nizwa Fort in Ad-Dakhiliya Governorate within their official visit to the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency the guest and his accompanying delegation were briefed on Nizwa Fort, its construction history, and the historical and heritage landmarks and facilities it contains, which reflects the glorious history of the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency toured the corridors of the fort and the traditional exhibitions which showcase different traditional crafts, pottery, and Omani halwa made by the people of Nizwa. His Excellency the German President signed the register of the VIP visitors, in which he expressed his happiness for getting to learn about the history of the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency was gifted some souvenirs handed to him by children from the wilaya of Nizwa. During the visit, His Excellency the German President was accompanied by His Excellency Engineer Saeed bin Hamoud Al-Mawali, Minister of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahruqiya, Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, and a number of officials. Elke Budenbinder, spouse of His Excellency Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier, President of the Republic of Germany, visited today the History of Science Center at the German University of Technology in Oman as part of the current official visit of His Excellency the German President and his spouse to the Sultanate of Oman. The spouse of His Excellency the German President was informed about the History of Science Center, which is an educational and cultural source that highlights the contribution of culture and human communication in the development of applied sciences and clarifies the history of the transmission of ideas and theories. During the visit, the guest was introduced to some students' projects in various research specializations at the university, presented by a group of students. She also visited the German University of Technology in Oman, toured its departments and colleges, and learned about the academic system, the services provided, and the scientific and research programs. During the visit, the spouse of His Excellency the German President was accompanied by Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahruqiya, Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation. Once again, welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency Dr. Alain Berset, President of the Swiss Confederation, and his spouse will pay an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman starting next Thursday. This was stated in a statement issued by the Diwan of the Royal Court today, which reads as follows. In an effort to strengthen the existing relations between the Sultanate of Oman and the Swiss Confederation in all that would achieve understanding and cooperation in various fields, and as per royal kindness of His Majesty the Sultan and His Excellency the President of the Swiss Confederation, to develop and improve the bilateral relations in a way that benefits the two peoples, His Excellency Dr. Alain Berset, President of the Swiss Confederation, and his spouse will pay an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman starting next Thursday, the 30th of November, until Friday, 1st of December 2023. During this visit, a number of issues of common interest of the two countries will be discussed and consultations will be held on current regional issues. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, the Foreign Minister, conducted a phone call today with His Excellency David Cameron, the UK Secretary of State for Foreign and Development Affairs. Both sides discussed the need for de-escalation and rationality in addressing the humanitarian, security and political impacts resulting from the war in the Gaza Strip. They also consulted on the future outlook and creating opportunities for achieving a fair and comprehensive peace with the participation of all parties supported by the international community. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. Nizwa Museum is considered a window into the ancient Omani heritage. A conference on financial strategies and banking technologies and services was held under the patronage of His Highness Sayyid Azzan bin Qais Al Said. More details in the following report.
Now we are, improving the overall.
Within the activities of the Future Tech event, a conference was held focusing on banking, financial technology, and banking services, with the participation of several CEOs, industry experts, decision makers, policy makers, and government officials from around the world.
We're here today to showcase and talk about how important technology is for the banking sector and the finance services. Today we'll be talking mainly about blockchain, the technology that we have used in our system, which is helping the bank to de-risk trade finance. Technology in general is something pretty important because it helps the banks to produce and come with new services, able to make a lot of the services and the processing that happens in the back end much faster. At the same time, it can have a better secured infrastructure that will give the opportunity for new services and new way to reach your customers.
The conference discussed current challenges, business opportunities, market strategy development, knowledge exchange, and identified solutions shaping the future of technology.
I think it's a very important expo that Oman is taking an initiative and the lead for. Having the two tracks of the tech and the banking is an important tracks in our daily lives towards further financial inclusion and social inclusion as well.
The Future Tech event was dedicated to business interactions, fostering connections between companies and government institutions. The accompanying exhibition served as the ideal platform to discover cutting-edge technological products expected to be released in the future.
Oman Data Park, the Sultanate's first cloud services and managed cybersecurity provider, is prepared to embark on work-based trainee program for graduates. More details in the following report. With the aim to enhance and improving the skills of Omani graduates applying for jobs, the Oman Data Park's work-based trainee program, in coordination with the Ministry of Labour, will start soon. The recent launched SHAB trainee program is ready for a qualitative addition to the employment process for the new graduates, as it will contribute to facilitating the successful integration of beginners into their early professional path and into the workforce. The program is based on a precise selection process where trainees are selected from a list of applicants who meet the minimum requirements for each job opportunity, and by subjecting those selected to an evaluation process in order to identify the candidates.
One of the top programs that very important for our country and also for the ministry. It is targeting 25 student graduate from universities. They aim that to invest in them in the clouding and artificial intelligence, and other that it is important for our society, for our organizations and the future of the country.
The candidates who successfully pass the selection processes are selected and included in the initial group of the short-listed qualified candidates.
This is as a pilot project. We are going to employ nearly 25 people, and maybe we can enlarge this program in the future. It depends how good is this program. It go with the time being. Also, we have another initiatives with the Ministry of Transport and also with other organizations.
It's worth mentioning that Oman Data Parks, the Sultanate's first cloud services and managed cyber security provider, plays an integral role in supporting the digital transformation of Oman by offering an all-in-one solution of computing, cloud computing, data storage, networking, web hosting, and network security services. In the meantime, the Minister of Labour announced the availability of 101 job vacancies for Omani job seekers who have not previously worked within the wage subsidy initiative in various establishments of the private sector. The job vacancies are to be filled by those holding a university degree, general education diploma, and post-secondary diploma. The wage subsidy initiative comes to support private sector establishments and encourage them to employ Omani citizens. The initiative consists of subsidizing the wages of these employees for 2 years at an amount of 200 Omani rials, provided that the employer bears the agreed upon wage difference and that the employment period is at least 4 years. Now to the Dakhliya region. Nizwa Museum, which has been recently opened in the center of the Wilaya of Nizwa in the Dakhliya Governorate, is considered a window into the ancient Omani heritage. More details coming up with Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
Several years ago, it was a mere dream for Muhammad bin Ahmed Abu Saidi to launch a museum through which he preserves Omani cultural heritage. With perseverance, he managed to turn that notion into a reality. He established the Nizwa Museum, located in Al-Aqar ancient neighborhood in the Wilaya of Nizwa in the Dakhliya Governorate, to allow visitors to learn about Omani heritage, culture, and civilization.
الاستثمار الثقافي هو أكبر بالنسبة لنا نحن.
We consider it a cultural investment for us. This museum will be a cultural school for everyone and will be of great importance in teaching the next generation about authentic ancient Omani heritage. Nizwa Museum is divided into 8 halls featuring nearly 2,000 archaeological and heritage pieces represented by Omani manuscripts dating back to more than 400 years. In addition to rarities of Omani pottery, handmade Omani copperware, doors and windows, among other equipment and machines.
متحف نزوة متحف كبير ما شاء الله.
Nizwa Museum is a large museum containing approximately 2,000 archaeological, heritage and cultural pieces. The museum contains 8 halls: the manuscripts hall, the weapons hall, the human hall, the Civilization Communication Hall, the Copper Hall, the Handicrafts Hall, the Pottery Hall, and the Omani Women's Hall. Nizwa Museum comes within the endeavors of Mohammed Abu Saidi to serve the community in cultural communication between the past and the present, preserve and restore cultural heritage, and enhance activities in the museum field. Besides offering marvelous glimpses of the deeply rooted Omani history, Nizwa Museum will contribute to the sustainable cultural tourism. From the Wilaya of Nizwa, Salih Bakhalfan al-Rahbi, الداخلية, Governorate.
Thank you, Saleh there. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty the Sultan and the German President review an official session of talks, the bilateral relations between the two countries, and exchange views on the latest regional and international developments. An official reception ceremony is accorded to the German President at Al Alam Palace. And His Excellency the President of the Swiss Confederation shall pay an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman starting next Thursday. With that, we do again conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Thank you for joining us and good night.